Okay, everyone, I'll let people wander in as we start, but I want to get off on time. My name's Joe Callingham. I'm based at Leiden University in Astron, where I'm a Benny Fellow, and I'm your SOC Chair and part of the LOC. Thanks to effort, particularly from Jason on that behalf on the LOC side and the SOC side. So I'm just going to give you some brief background on maybe the logistics of the conference, and then we'll get underway with our first talk, our first invited talk by Natasha Hurley-Walker. So just to begin, we've got a code of conduct for our conference. We're committed to a harassment-free environment here for everyone. We don't tolerate harassment in any form. So please, if you have any issues, feel free to contact either Jason or I via Slack or email, whatever you feel comfortable contacting. If there's ever been any issues you feel like that's violated this code of conduct, it's a pretty standard code of conduct. So most conferences have it. But if you have any questions about it, please reach out. Obviously, I have a lot of thanks to give, and particularly to the SOC, because they've really done an awesome job putting together a great program. So the members on the left there, I'm not going to read them all out, and in particular to the LOC, Jason and Renee for putting together like the Zoom rooms and all the GatherTown stuff has really come together nicely. The good thing with virtual conferences, I guess, you can kind of have a lean and mean LOC. It still means a lot of work is done, but it's kind of nice to get this done quickly and efficiently. So just to remind everyone, the invited talks are 25 minutes long, plus 5 minutes of questions. And the contributor talks are 17 minutes plus 3 minutes of questions. And if you want to tweet, the hashtag for the conference is SALF VIII or SALF 8. Now, we've grown even more since SALF 7. We've got now over 400 registered participants. I tried to extract the URLs. I tried to extract positions based on people's affiliations. It was a little bit tricky to do, but we're pretty much spread over the globe, all from Australia to North America, everything in between. I think I missed out on a few people here because a few people registered late, but it's quite exciting to have everyone from all over the world. And that's why we have 3 rolling time zones for the conference. And so obviously at least one of those is going to be bad for you. So feel free, again, these are going to be recorded and placed onto YouTube to watch at your own convenience, unless the speaker requests not to have that the case. Now, just some breakdown. I thought it might be interesting for people online, just to give an idea who's in the audience, right? In a normal conference, you can look out and often see a lot of this information, but in a virtual conference, that's a lot harder. So to give you some background in some of the stats, we're about, I would say, roughly evenly split between the postdoc, PhD, and faculty grouping. There's a few master's students in the audience and bachelor students in the audience, but we're roughly nearly like 25% postdoc, as it says here, roughly a third PhD, and 30% faculty, so tenure track or tenured people. In terms of gender breakdown, we're nearly 2/3 people that associate with being male, about 1/3 associated with being female, and about less than 1% who classified themselves as genderqueer, with a 4% preferring not to say as well. So just keep that in mind. More interesting kaleidoscope is what people are interested in, and this is kind of an engaging plot. There's a lot of different areas, and I feel like I regret allowing people to choose their own one, because then you can see this in these little stripes all at the top here of just like one saying, "Oh, I don't quite fit into anything said here," which is also, I guess, important. The big ones here to take away, I think, relative to the previous conference, is that and these are only for people that submitted a talk, I should say. Only people that submitted a talk is this interest, so it's somewhat biased. But epoch reionization is a bit smaller this year than last year. I think about 25% of all talks last year were submitted by the epoch reionization. The big growth has actually happened in pulsars, the submitted, and FRBs, the transients one as well, have grown quite substantially in terms of interest here. And then you've got galaxies and clusters occupying a large chunk of it as well. So yeah, it's about what you'd expect, right? The 3 big and low frequency radio astronomy is like AGN and plus clusters, EOR, and then pulsars plus transients. And they occupy a large slab of this, but there's obviously lots of interesting other work going on outside those areas. Give you some interest, where is kind of the median mass time zone. I tried to put this together, and it's because people could choose multiple time zones. It didn't quite work, but you can see largely European time and late European time tends to dominate, which probably also works with the East Coast US, right? So if you include 1700 UT all the way up, so about 2/3 of participants are probably within a time zone that's convenient to Europe/East Coast US, which is kind of what you expect on the average mass of astronomers, particularly radio astronomers. But there is a few people gaming this. I've noticed that particularly a few Australians said their preferred time zone was something that's probably a little bit more inconvenient for Australia, because I guess you then when I'm making the schedule, you might be talking to a different audience that live at least than normal. In terms of breakdown, so I really like the system that we've been doing with science at low frequencies, where we remove all identifying information. And I think that really removes a lot of internal and subconscious biases that are somewhat prevalent when it comes to selecting speakers. And so of the 60 talks that are awarded, 34% are being presented by men, 25% by women, and 1 by a genderqueer person. In terms of career, it's essentially an even split as well. 22 talks by PhD students, 25 by postdocs, and 13 by faculty. 13 by faculty, I think, is a little bit large, but the dominance of the faculty particularly come with telescope updates or new telescope proposals. And so that's where a lot of those talks tend to come in. Now, everyone should be part of Slack now, should have joined. So all announcements will now go via Slack. I won't be emailing anymore. So if anything changes, that will be done in the announcement channel. And please come along, join, and introduce yourself as well. The introduction channel there is to make sure people have a chat and have fun with that. In terms of lightning talks, we've got a whole bunch of them already. Jason uploaded them onto YouTube. There's a URL link there. Obviously, don't write it down. It's in the Slack as well, but I just put it there. These lightning talks are by people that submitted an abstract, wasn't awarded a contributed talk, and it's we have over 40 of those submitted, and they're about 3 minutes long. I've also put them in GatherTown, and so I'll show you that in a second now. I just want to do a 2-minute kind of demo, but please go and check out these talks. There's lots of interesting science that we couldn't award a slot to, so please come and check those out. Now, what is GatherTown? Hopefully most people experienced it before, but if they haven't, I'm going to give you a live demo now. We'll see how well this goes. I'm trying to do this briefly as well, but I just want to say it's meant to be very easy. It just works in your browser. It's all straightforward. It's a little avatars, and you move around and you can talk to each other, interact, and there's different environments to make it work. And in particular, what we hope is at the end of the session, you can actually go to the space to continue the discussion, which I'll show now. So let me just stop my sharing. And I will now share my GatherTown space, and Jason will just yell out if anything goes wrong or doesn't work. All right, so this is kind of what you'll be welcomed at when you join. You can design your character and name yourself. I've already done that. It's only, again, takes a minute or two. Then you join the gathering, and it will take a little while to load, but you will appear at the bottom here. Now, GatherTown has different spaces. I've tried to make this as small a space as possible because, well, for our size of our conference, because my experience is that even though you have 400 people advertised, not 400 people turning up to GatherTown at the same time. You usually only have about 50. And so I didn't want to make it too big. So I've kind of put these trees, these red trees in places where you can't go anymore, okay? So just so you know, it's not like there's a secret. I'm just trying to make the space a little bit nicer. Oh, there's Nicole. I've also made it a little bit festive themed with Christmas and Hanukkah themes running through it. The main 3 rooms that you want to pay attention to, posters 1, lounge, and posters 2. I can't change the names here, but posters mean lightning talks. So when I go and walk into this room, you will see it'll load up, and you've got all these different TVs and desks. Each one of these correspond to a lightning talk. And so you just go up to it and press X, and it'll load the web page, and you can watch it communally. You can stand together with friends and discuss the talk or watch the talk together as well. Obviously, you can just go to YouTube itself if you'd like. So that's one lounge like that. Then in the lounge, this is where I hope people can just relax after the conference or whenever you like. And sorry, it takes a little while to load. And there's a whole bunch of games on there. So, you know, there's poker, there's set, there's a whole bunch of other types of games you can come and play. So, and they're often multiplayer games as well. So if you want to relax and have some fun with colleagues, this is definitely the space to do it. Now, posters 2 is just similar to the first room, so I won't show that, and also interest of time. The other important room I want you guys to pay attention to, well, there's some breakout rooms if people want to go and talk to each other or just have a private chat with colleagues. But when the discussion finishes and people really want to continue on discussing the science, you can actually go all the way up to this last room here, which is a keynote room. And here, which is, I hope, where people that are interested to continue the discussion can accumulate, and we can actually continue it here. Anyway, so that's GatherTown. Hope it all made sense. And I will now finish up. If there's any last minute questions, feel free to raise your hand. But hopefully most of the logistics made sense. Again, everything's in Slack. I'll give a 10-second pause for any questions.